Is it a done deal? Peace with Iran? We should know shortly. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be open, not just fake open. And what a night in America last night. The left went crazy over it, as you can imagine. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Great to be with you. I am 4 weeks now post-op from my open heart surgery. And I have to tell you, today is the best I have felt yet. I was in New York this morning. No reason to tell you why I was up there. I was just there.
Nothing going on. Just went up to New York.
I felt like going to the city this morning.
Cool.
That's all.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I just felt like putting on a jacket and a tie and going to New York City. That's all.
I mean,
I did.
Late June is just a delightful temperature in New York. You wouldn't.
Lovely. And the garbage still fresh from the Knicks celebration. Buses still on fire. The pungent smell of burnt police cars and smashing windows still all there for you. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't want you to miss that. Yeah. Nothing in New York.
No. Got some street meat. I think the hot dog was 3 days old.
What part of New York? Were you in like Avenue of the Americas, or were you more like...
So do you, 6th Avenue and 48th Street, actually, as a matter of fact. So
there's a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah. Rockefeller Center's there, as a matter. Yeah, right there.
30 Rock. Yeah. Okay.
30 Rock. You got what's News Corp, I believe it's called. News Corp.
That's one of the big ones.
The building. Big one. Yeah, big ticker around it. So, while I was there, I popped into Fox News and did a quick hit on America's Newsroom. I figured while I was up there, that's all. But that is not a shameless plug to say that I was on Fox News. I happened to be up there, and I was like, while I'm here, let me just walk on set and pop on and say hi to Bill and Dana and Melissa DeRosa and do a quick
Did you walk by the window they have, and they were like, hey, that guy, hey, Rich is here. Somebody go grab him.
I was on banging on with a sign. I had cue cards, like in that movie. Hi, haven't been on since yesterday. Oh, also, that's a shameless plug that I was on yesterday for Fox and Friends. Anyway, let me get right into it, shall we? So I'm a little bit flustered from the travel, but I feel great. And so 4 weeks post-op, feel fantastic. I really do. But I got to thank Tony Minitti and his sister Marion, because they helped me out, Bell Pharmacy. We were talking on Friday about some cannabis oil to help with the wound, and they helped me out big time. So I just want to give them a quick shout and some love and say thank you guys for being there for me. I appreciate it. Tony hangs the Zeoli Army flag from his house in LBI every summer and is flying proudly as we speak right now. Now, in case you're wondering, last night the left just absolutely wanted to do something, anything, to distract America away from the gladiator fight on the lawn of the White House, the UFC fight that was taking place for President Trump's birthday and America's birthday. And so they decided to have their own little anti-fascist, I don't even know if you call it a talent show, because I've seen talent shows at grade schools, high schools. I've seen talent shows at these places, and they're terrible. This was worse than that. Like, if my kids were part of this talent show, I would pull them out of the talent show, and I'd be like, you're not doing this, okay? There's no way you're doing this. So here's a little bit of the counter program to the UFC that the Democrats were doing last night. It's bad. It's really bad. It's like if you have animals around, please guard your animals, okay?
No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time. How do we get there? Together or never get there at all.
Yeah, it's a catchy tune. No one is getting left behind this time. What if you want to get left behind so that you don't have to endure that torture? Is there a way you can sign up for that? Like, I want to be left behind, actually, so that I don't have to hear that. But that's not even the worst part of it. Joy Reid lectured America last night. Barbara Streisand sang last night, or Bette Midler, one of them. I can't tell the two of them apart. I mean, they're all terrible. But probably what might have been the ultimate of last night was Robert De Niro, who got up and started to to speak up. Now, the man is a classically trained actor, and to take nothing away from Robert De Niro, he's been in some of the greatest movies ever. He's also been in some of the worst movies ever. Because there was a time when I think he got ripped off by his accountant or something, and he lost everything, and so he had to do literally every movie. Like my dad would used to joke about that. My dad would joke that Robert De Niro's in every movie now. And there was a streak where he did everything. And I don't know if he ever made his money back. I have no idea, but that could maybe be adding to his bitterness. But the thing about actors is they're very good about reading lines that somebody else writes for them. And then when they have to speak extemporaneously, they're not so good. But Robert De Niro last night was not speaking extemporaneously. He had lines. So the only question I have as I play this for you is, if the man is a classically trained actor who has been reading lines his entire career, can he please freaking get the lines right? For the love of God, please.
Even speech, I don't like, and there's plenty of that around. So when I hear something I don't like, I use my own free speech to respond. Let me give you an example. When I hear Trump say, as he did a few days ago, I don't think about Americans' financial situation. Not even a little bit. I say, shut the fuck up.
Wow, that is profound. I mean, I'm sorry, I should have given you earmuffs warning there. That is profound, huh? Shut the F up. Wow. I mean, that is Lincoln Douglas style stuff right there. Am I right? Right? You want to match the leer like, oh, the UFC fight is...
I love the inflation. Now say it with me. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, that is creative.
Won the 2020 election. Ready? Shut the fuck up.
There you see? Look at that, huh?
Your young kids will especially enjoy it.
So creative. Get it? So everything Trump says, you just say in response, shut the F up. Got it? Okay, so we can play this at home too. It's very simple. So like, I love the fact that the left is like, well, the UFC fight is so craven. It's so the debauchery. We can't have this at the White House. So we're going to have our counter protest, and we're going to raise the level of decorum by saying, shut the F up over and over and over again. And then having that singing and having that dancing and everything else that they were doing. And as I was watching this whole thing last night, I just kept thinking to myself, you know, this is part of the problem of America. Like Gavin Newsom put out a tweet of Donald Trump's birthday, and it had Donald Trump saying 80 is the new 100. And it's like they're all trying to be him so badly. They're trying to be Trump, and they're just not good at it. Donald Trump is a unique figure in American political history. And when his time is over, his time is over. And there's not going to be anyone else like him. J.D. Vance won't be like him. Marco Rubio won't be like him. Nobody's going to be like him. I mean, the closest guy to be like him is Spencer Pratt, and he didn't win in L.A. But I mean, he's embraced that kind of Trumpian style of in-your-face politics, and But these other guys are a bunch of cover bands, and they're bad at it. They're bad cover bands. They're not good cover bands. That's the problem with all this. And they keep acting this way over and over again because they don't understand Donald Trump's connection with people is deeper than just curse words. It's deeper than just UFC fights. He came around at a time when people were desperate for a politician to speak truth to power, and that's why he was successful. That's why he was able to win. That's why he was able to come on the scene. It wasn't just simply about dropping F-bombs. But we have seen lately more and more Democrats and activists, and these actors and singers and everybody else, from Rosie O'Donnell to Robert De Niro to politicians, Gavin Newsom and these others, one after another. Graham Plattner's the next one on the scene, dropping F-bombs. I actually read an article over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal about this, and it talked about the rise of the dude bro candidates. And it's all about how these guys are trying to emulate that Trumpian quality of like that Joe Rogan, Theo Von, the podcast bro. Like, let me tell you something about this moment in our politics. Like all moments in politics, it's going to pass. It will. It'll pass. Because these things are always fleeting. They're always fleeting moments. But right now, What Democrats don't understand is that authenticity is what people are desperate for. In this day and age of fake AI videos, in this day and age of people that come out and they try to be somebody that they're not, and they sell you a bunch of BS, they want authenticity. What do they do in response? They try to act like Donald Trump. They try to put on a Trump impression, a bad Trump impression, not a good Trump impression, not like a comedian's funny Trump impression. They try to do a bad Trump impression. That's where we are in America right now at this point. And that's why they keep losing. That's why they're in trouble, even though the socialists keep rising up. I'll give you an example. In Boston, the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, came out over the weekend and started complaining about Trump's renovations in D.C. and how the renovations in D.C. should not be done because they need to be funding instead sex changes and gender mutilation surgeries on kids and trans mutilation. I don't really quite understand what that has to do with a reflecting pool or a ballroom or like cleaning up the Lincoln Memorial. I don't really know, but somehow the Boston mayor made this connection here. Take a listen.
Pride is love and freedom, courage and resistance. Pride is the right to be exactly who you are, to be treated with dignity and respect. And pride is what we need as this federal administration tries to intimidate our residents and community partners. They are trying to roll back the progress that generations of activists and leaders sacrificed for. They would rather remodel the White House ballroom than fund the gender-affirming healthcare that saves young people's lives.
What? Wait, what? I don't understand. What? This is an either-or situation? This is an either-or thing? It's like, wait, ballroom or gender-affirming care? This is the problem, okay? This is why the Democrats are so off message right now. You can debate whether or not we need a ballroom. You can debate whether the taxpayers should fund it. But it's not like, but if not, can we use that to mutilate our kids? Can we use that to chop their schwanzes off? Can we use that to chop their boobies off? Like, if we're not going to spend money on a ballroom, or if we're not going to spend money on the reflecting pool, can we then use it to make sure that Johnny becomes Susie? Can we do that? Do you understand how insane that is? This is why you can't connect with people, because nobody outside of a small cult of Democrats would actually think any money should be going to those things. Any money. Like, I was having this conversation yesterday about how the Cleveland Clinic and these other hospitals now, because the Trump administration sued them, they're now no longer going to fund the so-called gender-affirming care. Let's be very honest what this is. This is mutilating kids. This is giving kids drugs. This is this false hope that, a kid who believes that he's in the wrong body can change his sex or her sex, and they can't. And for too long, doctors and hospitals, health centers have been preying on this vulnerable population of kids who need mental help. And they've been saying to them, the answer lies in you just disfiguring yourself. And I'm going to get very, very rich on it and get another shore house and get another fancy car. And if anyone tells me that I'm being greedy and preying on you, the answer is they're a bigot. Got it? They're a bigot. That was the thing. I mean, like 5 minutes ago, that was the thing. And then we sued, the Trump administration sued, and they stopped these hospitals from doing this. So now they've announced no more funding, and now they're going to pay money towards getting kids to be able to, if they want to, detransition back to being who they were. Great. But 5 minutes before that, it was, you are a bigot if you said that kids should not have gender-affirming care, quote unquote gender-affirming care. Like if a 14-year-old couldn't cut his schwanz off, you were the problem. Not that a doctor was going to charge $500,000 for that surgery and ruin this kid's life, so that this guy could have an even bigger penthouse that he can pay more taxes to Ma'am Dami. That's not the problem. You were the problem for criticizing that. But how the hell that has to do with funding a ballroom or funding a reflecting pool, I can't figure out. Those are legitimate debates. I'm personally for the ballroom. I don't really give a flying blank if they have one or not. It seems like it makes sense. I'm also for cleaning up the reflecting pool. Fine. The Capitol should every now and then probably clean up its monuments. I really don't think it's a big deal. The way we spend money in this country, this is the least of our problems. But if you want to save taxpayer dollars by not doing those things, have that debate with me, but don't turn around and go, but actually what we'd rather do is reallocate that money towards mutilating kids. You see, that's where you lose everybody who's not insane, right? That's where you lose everybody who's not clinically insane. That's the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Dr. Mike is the man, and he's going to give you a great smile that you will love. Democrats got really excited, by the way, about this possibility that Eric Trump was trying to get insider information on the UFC fight last night. They got all excited. But I knew it was a Fugazi the minute I saw these tweets. I'll get into that with you in a second. The president is at the G7. The latest is that there's about to be an announcement on a big, huge deal. He was meeting with Emmanuel Macron and leaders of the world. They're going to announce this deal. The Strait of Hormuz will remain open, permanently open. Eventually, during the ceasefire period, we'll get all the nuclear dust back. And Iran has committed to making no nuclear weapons. There has been questions around, is Israel going to cooperate with this? And that remains to be one of those points now that is a sticking point here, because we're hoping that nobody violates the terms of the peace deal. But that's what everybody is waiting on right now. So the president flew to France early this morning, and he's at the G7. So he went from the White House for the UFC fight to the G7 to end this Iran conflict. Once this Iran war is over, and I mean over, and I hope it's over. You know, we've been at this place before, and so my hope is that it's over. We're going to be in a much better position heading towards midterms, because the socialists, as I've been saying to you, are, you know, they're on the march. Like they're on the march, but Democrat policies are terrible, and Democrat candidates are terrible too. And so if we can make sure that we have this deal worked out, and then gas prices go down, and then food prices stabilize, and all these things happen, we're going to be in great shape. I mean, I think Republicans are going to be in better shape than we realize going into midterms. That's my sense of it as all this happens. Like, one of the reasons for that is professors at a top California college have been forced to radically alter coursework because kids can't read. Like, this is a great conversation to have in the general election to get moms engaged. Republicans should be having this conversation. They should be talking directly to mom. I keep hearing how women in the suburbs are the key to winning in November, just like they were the key to winning last November. All right, have this conversation with them. All right, talk about how your kids can't read because schools are failing them. Humanities professors at some of the nation's most prestigious universities in California say they are assigning fewer pages, replacing full books with excerpts, and rethinking coursework as students are increasingly struggling to keep up with reading heavy classes. Reading heavy classes, meaning that the class has a lot of reading material. The kids can't do it. The concerns raised by faculty at the University of California, Berkeley, not a dumb school, not an easy school to get into, mind you. All right. Also, the birthplace of the free speech movement, ironically enough, has one of the biggest censorati programs in American college campuses. This is a broader debate across the University of California system about whether incoming students are arriving on campus academically prepared for college-level work. Several professors told the Daily Californian that reading expectations have steadily declined over the past 2 decades, prompting some instructors to scale back assignments in order to maintain meaningful classroom discussions. Let me cut to the chase. We are raising a nation of dumbasses because we've scaled back educational requirements for 2 reasons. Number one, for woke purposes, because not all kids are bright, and we wanted to make sure every student felt bright, so we've decided to just lower standards. That's why we've done idiotic things like you say, but we've no grades, like nobody gets a grade. Everybody just gets a sticker. Like, yeah, you passed. We've decided now that we're going to get rid of terms like valedictorian because it may make the dumb kids feel dumb. And the second reason why our kids are getting to college not prepared is that we've decided that we're going to let the teachers union have an easy time at things. So at public schools, we've let the teachers union say, let's lower the standards for all kinds of reasons, but mainly because out of equity and fairness. And we've had these stories over time. We've talked about this. We've talked about how schools have said math is too hard and racist. We've talked about how schools have said that history needs to be redefined. And you know what they mean by that, of course. It has to be replaced by the kind of history that is said by a woman now running for city council in New York City, that America is the worst country in the world and where we've committed more evil. And if you need to wipe yourself, you should use the American flag. That's the candidate running in New York City, backed by Zohran Mamdani, a Democrat. That's what they believe about America. She's going to win, probably. And we've also raised a generation that has become convinced that they don't really need to work hard because that's a value that is American capitalism and the patriarchy and blah, 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 blah. And what really needs to happen is the oligarchy needs to be toppled. Now, not to give a shameless plug to myself, but I'll do it again. When I was on Fox News yesterday, not today, which I was also, but yesterday while I was there at Fox News.
Just like daily.
Did I not? Yeah, twice in a row. Did I not mention that?
But you're talking about yesterday, but you're wearing a suit now.
Right.
So, both.
But I also wore a suit then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a big deal.
2 days in a row?
In the building every day. They get to know you. Security's like, hey, Rich. You're like, yeah. I'm here all the time.
Oh, yeah. Tim was there today, but I still had to go through security. Is that like 2 dates in a row? Is this like a third date situation?
I mean, you got to pit them against each other. You got to start arguing about you.
I feel like I've gone on a lot of dates and I've still only made it to first base. So I'm really at this point.
It's all right. She's a super good looking date. So, you know.
Fox News is a very good looking date.
Very attractive.
Who takes her time. She really takes her time.
Hey,
you know,
she's looking for Mr. Right, not Mr. Right now. And so you got to just play the game.
She wants to wait till marriage.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything over the clothes. That's fine.
So
it's
it's a long,
it's going to be worth it.
Courtship. Long courtship, but it's all right. And she always makes me go to her. You know. It's like,
also, if they ever hear this, that's going to be 3 steps back. It's like, Rich, were you discussing Fox News as a woman you were dating?
No, not at all. Definitely not. I was not doing that.
Bald
Didn't
guy
do
mustache.
That.
That was him.
That was him. That was Jared. This evil Jared. He was saying that. He was making that comparison. I was just so grateful to be in the building. I was just so grateful to be there and couldn't be happier about the situation. And I'm not looking to cop a feel, if that's what you're thinking. I'm not looking. That's not what.
Last thing on my mind.
That's not what. Not even thinking that thing. No, I just want to meet your parents. Okay, I just want to meet your parents. That's all I'm saying. All right. In this analogy, that would be talent management. So I just want to meet them. So anyway.
So Fox News yesterday.
I was saying how Elon Musk created a lot of millionaires, like Juan Hernandez. You heard about this guy? He was a welder, came to America as an immigrant, got paid in stock, took like $10,000 worth of stock, SpaceX stock. He didn't even know what the hell it was. He's like, why not? Now he's a millionaire. And there are 400,000 employees at SpaceX who took stock, and then they're now millionaires. And then you've got all these other people who are 100 millionaires, meaning that they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's called capitalism. Yet America's mother-in-law, Elizabeth Warren, put out a video from the backseat of a taxpayer-funded SUV being driven by a taxpayer-funded aide, criticizing Elon Musk and saying, how dare we have trillionaires? Now, I could play that for you, but I care about you too much. I love you too much. I don't want to do that to you. So I'll just summarize it for you like this. She, for 90 seconds, complained about how it's not right that America has trillionaires. Bernie Sanders puts out a tweet basically saying the same thing. Let me ask you a question. You may struggle in your life. Maybe you are. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're struggling to pay your bills. Maybe you're struggling to pay for kids' college. Maybe you're struggling to pay your health care, whatever it is. Does Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire affect you in your life in any way? No, he doesn't. Like, he doesn't affect me. Him becoming a trillionaire, Juan Hernandez, the welder, the immigrant welder, becoming a millionaire, has no bearing on my life whatsoever, other than if I was in an industry that maybe he patronized, I might be the beneficiary of that. Like, let's say I owned a bed and breakfast a hotel, and maybe he decided with this money now he's going to take his family on a vacation. Let's say I owned a hotel. Like maybe I benefit that way, but But you see, what Democrats are going to do going into the midterms is they're going to use Elon Musk as the ultimate villain. He's a trillionaire. That's right. And they're going to pretend as if that means that he's a trillionaire and you're struggling, and somehow it's his fault that you're struggling. Like you wouldn't be struggling if he wasn't a trillionaire. Why? How? How does that math work exactly? But they don't believe in the idea that actually people getting rich get other people rich. They believe that the government should confiscate wealth and then distribute it out to people who will always be at a lower standard of living, but then they'll all have the same. That's called a communist mindset. That's going to be the playbook they run on this fall. Oh, they're up in arms about Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire. You kidding me? They're up in arms about it. They can't stand it. They're like, Elon, a trillionaire? No, that's not okay. That's too much wealth for one person. But it's not just for one person. And he's going to pay more taxes than any other person in America because he made more money than any other person in America. That's how that works. And all the millionaires that he created, well, guess what? They're also going to pay lots of taxes, but it's not enough. It's not enough for them. It will never be enough. So here's how the fall is going to go. It's going to be evil Elon Musk trillionaire, villain, bad guy, versus you struggling for affordability. And that's going to be their playbook heading into the midterms where now they're saying that the Democrats have a chance of winning the Senate and the Democrats have a chance of winning the House. That's going to be their playbook. You heard it here. They're going to use Elon Musk every chance they get, and they're going to scream about how can we live in a country where somebody has $1 trillion and you're just barely struggling to get by. But how does him having $1 trillion change you struggling to get by? What are they going to do to help you get by? That's the fantasy they sell. They sell the fantasy to people that somehow we'll confiscate his wealth, give it to you, and then you'll get by better. You'll get by better or something. That's the fantasy that they're going to sell this November. You'll see the playbook. But let me tell you about my great friend, Dr. Mike Veneria, terrific guy, great friend, the master of implant dentists and my dentist. You got to go see him for your perfect smile. You know, a smile lights up the room. And whether I'm on camera or not, I love the fact that Dr. Mike is my dentist. And I know that I have a beautiful smile. And I know that he's my family's dentist. And I take great comfort in that as well. My kids go see Dr. Mike. And Bridget got a beautiful smile upgrade from Dr. Mike Veneria when her veneers needed to be replaced. And she got beautiful new caps. He's just a great guy and a great friend. And when other doctors and dentists are sending their patients to Dr. Mike, you know that there's a reason for that. They're putting their reputation on the line. You know, you put your reputation on the line for a guy, the guy better deliver. If they keep doing that 12 years in a row, that means that he's delivering. So go see Dr. Mike today by going to veneriadental.com. Cinnaminson, Woodbury locations. He's the best. You'll love the people in his office, and you will love the music. I know that you're like, music at a dental office, Zeoli. What are you talking about? It actually matters. Because it's the whole environment. It's safe and hygienic, of course, and people that care about you. It's about care and compassion and giving you a great experience. veneriadental.com. Jared, you know, for a long time I did media training with candidates, and occasionally I dabble. You know, I dabble in that. If there's a candidate that I like, I might do some media training with them. Public speaking training, media training. You know my first rule of getting out of a tough question, right? Have I ever shared this with you?
Is it answer the question you wish they asked?
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's what I've heard in debates. They ask you that you answer the question you wish they asked, and hope they don't say anything.
Hope they don't catch you on the fact that you didn't answer the question.
Right.
That's a good one.
Okay.
But I have a better strategy. If you get asked a question you don't want to answer, plug your book.
Hard
it
pivot.
Works every time. Yeah.
Pivot.
You pivot by plugging your own book in the most shameless way possible. You see, if you want to learn shameless strategies of self-promotion, you've come to the right place. And you could use those strategies of shameless self-promotion to get yourself out of tough questions about Graham Plattner, like Senator Raphael Warnock did when he was asked about Plattner and didn't want to answer.
Senator, let me talk to you about the midterms. One of the big headlines this week, Democrats officially nominating Graham Plattner as their Senate candidate in Maine, despite a swirl of controversies from allegations of abusive behavior from ex-girlfriends, which he firmly denies, to a tattoo associated with a Nazi symbol. He says he obtained that without understanding its meaning. He has since covered it up. Do you believe Graham Plattner has the character to serve in the United States Senate?
Well, here's what I'll say. Character matters, and that's what I'm saying in this new book that I've written. The crooked place is made straight, and I think that the voters of Maine have an opportunity to see who they want to represent them in the United States Senate. They will decide that.
On sale now.
Buy it wherever books are sold. The answer, Kristen, lies on page 294 of my book, Why Character Counts. Available now at Amazon.com. Pre-order and save 10%. Or Barnes & Noble if you're a loyalty member, 20% off. And as I write on page 312, when you have a fake oysterman with a Nazi tattoo who's got a history of beating up women and misogynistic tweets, well, you got to read the book to find out the answer. That's on page 417, Kristen. So,
can I stick up for the senator here? Tiny bit?
Yeah.
I mean, who would have known he was going to get asked about Graham Plattner, right? I'm sure his staff had no idea that might come up in every single book tour stop that he's going to go to as a sitting U.S. senator. How could they have known that might come up on Meet the Press? He's got no way to
As I
prepare.
mentioned in my book, Chapter 7 deals with Nazi SS guard inspired tattoos, Kristen. And, I don't want to give it away now, but and in the forward of the book and in the audio version too, and in the epilogue, you'll find some more thoughts on what happens when you mock people for their suicidal thoughts and tendencies, and also say America's worse than the worst country on earth. But I don't want to give that away, Kristen, because you might be reading it right now. So buy it wherever books are sold.
No spoiler, Raphael. That's his thing. He doesn't want to ruin it. He wants to. It's a tease. He's bringing you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. When I host Jack Carver book events, I try not to do a spoiler.
Oh, who done it?
Right?
Does it, like who's the real? No, you don't. It's a cloak and dagger. You can't go on Meet the Press and give away the ending.
No, you can't do that. Shameless. I love it. Shameless plug. Just and I hope I don't know if she does. I didn't listen to the whole clip. I didn't watch the whole interview. But I hope that Kristen Welker at some point, if it were me, this is why I could never host one of these shows, because then I'll give you an earmuffs warning here, kids. I'm going to say I'll just, for the sake of time, I'll just say this. I would go, okay, that's BS. Can you answer the question, please, and not just plug your book? All right, don't give me that crap, Senator. Like Please, that's just a shameless plug. It's all you're doing is just shamelessly plugging your book. Stop it. Okay?
In the United States Senate.
Well, here's what I'll say. Character matters, and that's what I'm saying in this new book that I've written.
That's why what? No. You don't get to come on here and shamelessly plug your book and avoid answering the question about your party's nominee for U.S. Senate who happens to have a Nazi tattoo and a history of misogyny, and also saying horrible things and wanting a socialist revolution and saying he's a communist. Like, no, sorry, you don't get to dodge that while also trying to make a book profit, okay? I understand you got a big advance to meet with Simon & Schuster or whoever the hell your publisher is, but that's not how this works, okay? Raphael, got it? Good. If you were wondering about the World Cup madness that's happening in our area, I want to share with you a headline from the New York Post. I saw this over the weekend. Travel chaos to MetLife Stadium as World Cup fans are stranded for hours with petty New Jersey Governor Mikie Sherrill taking the heat. Now, Mikie Sherrill was seen at the game sitting next to New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani. But if you think that they had any travel problems, because, the World Cup's also coming to Philadelphia. I saw today, my buddy Lee Pravorsky sent me a picture. He's a jeweler in Philly, great guy. Sent me a picture. Parking lots charging $650 for parking. So a lot of fans are taking the train. the New Jersey transit ticket prices for the MetLife games or whatever, I think start at $90, if I'm not mistaken. You can't park anywhere near the stadium for security reasons. So I guess the Democrat governor's afraid of all of the immigrants coming into our country. I don't know. I guess. I don't know. But she decided to go on the choo-choo train and make an announcement to everybody. Now, this is the kind of stuff that would infuriate me if I'm spending hundreds of dollars on a crowded transit train, knowing that the governor is somewhere in a car all by herself, not having to deal with the sweaty, huddled masses. This is the kind of stuff that would burn me if I had to deal with hours and hours of chaos on a train platform, is if I finally make it on the overpriced train and I'm hot and I got my family there and I'm trying to go enjoy a soccer game and then I got to hear this.
Hi, everybody. This is Governor Mikie Sherrill. Do we have any Brazilian fans on the train today? Everybody.
Okay, thank you. Sorry you were stranded for hours and hours on the platform and you couldn't park anywhere, and so sorry that your life was completely miserable and it was pure hell. Okay, bye everybody. That was my big public service announcement. Thousands of World Cup fans were left stranded at the stadium for hours over the weekend as chaos reigned and trains left almost empty, with petty New Jersey Governor Mikie Sherrill taking the heat. Insiders, I want you to know this because this woman's going to run for president. She might be on the presidential ticket in 2028. Tried to drive and park at the American Dream theme park close to the site, but they were not allowed to do that. So visitors who took ride shares couldn't get off at the property until past midnight, leading to frustrated scenes for hours. People had to walk for miles. There were thousands and thousands of people. They say things could have been worse, but petty Mikie Sherrill was to blame. Quote, maybe instead of being petty and demanding the FIFA host committee pay to switch out all of the stadium signs so it says New Jersey before New York, Sherrill should have made them bring down the cost of the crazy $98 train ticket that left thousands stranded after the game while they ran train cars that were half empty. Thousands of people stranded. This is the kind of stuff that happens. I just want you to know this because in my mind, I have this theory. I believe this in my soul. When you make commuters mad, when you make people angry about trains and stuff like this is stuff they remember. Oh yeah, this is the stuff they remember. Any fans on the yay? Okay, I'm going to go back to my air-conditioned car now and stay away from all of you masses so I don't get any fleas and ticks from the rest of you people, okay? All right? But if you do want to drive to a game and pay for parking, just know you're going to have a lot of chaos. So you might as well at least do it in style by going to my friends at Tri-County Auto. They are the absolute best. And I'm so happy about the great deals they have. Right now, secure 0% financing for 60 months on a new 2026 Ram 1500 or drive away in a 2026 Jeep Wrangler with 0% financing. Available with over 125 new vehicles, they have the perfect car for a road trip or for cruising around. You can stop by during their Make the Summer event to get your next Jeep by going to tricounty.com. I love driving a Jeep made in America, but hey, more and more Toyotas are made in America now, including the one we just bought from Tri-County Toyota, the beautiful Toyota Sienna. That's right. I'm driving a minivan, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm driving a minivan. It's a beautiful thing, and they got great deals on them as well, and they'll take great care of you. Look, for me, it's about going with your friends, and they're great friends of this show. They're our official car sponsor of the Zeoli show and podcast, number one. Number two, they take great care of our veterans. It's our 250th anniversary of America, and Brian Krieger and Cheryl Krieger love our veterans. That's why they donated a beautiful white Jeep Wrangler to the Travis Manning Foundation for the use of their veteran programs. And that's how I got to know them, was through their support of the Travis Manning Foundation and their great support of the veterans. So please make your visit to Tri-County. They're easy to get to from everywhere. They're at Exton, the Main Line, King of Prussia, from Jersey, wherever. And it's worth the trip. Support the home team, Tri-County Auto. Toyota's made in America. Jeeps, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, made in America. Great pricing, great people, tricounty.com. So yeah, it sounds like fun, Jared, the World Cup. And it sounds like hell. And it's probably the reason why I can understand why a lot of people want nothing to do with it.
Rich,
Really?
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Mikie Sherrill, as a political strategist.
Yeah.
Right? Firstly, she says, have a great game, everybody. I don't believe these people are playing in the World Cup. I believe they are attending the World Cup. Like,
oh, you don't think the players are on the train?
Like, if I saw you at an Eagles game, I would be like, hey, have a great game, Rich. Like, no, I'd be like, enjoy the game. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And same, like, any Brazilian fans. Like, no, or any fans of Brazil. Because there's people that aren't Brazilian fans that live in New Jersey that are fans of Brazil, right? It's weird. So that's annoying.
Yeah, it's weird, definitely.
Can you imagine being in a noisy, moving train car and a tiny woman at the front is just talking loudly? Like, you can't, like, if I did this thing, we're going to go buy a Brazil jersey. We're going to buy a Morocco jersey. We're going to have the governor on the radio. Hey, guys, I'm so glad to be here. I'm governor of New Jersey. We're going to be giving this jersey away. Do something. You're just standing there in a USA jersey.
Yeah.
Like, are there any Brazilian fans? Yay.
At least you're saying fans. There should have been a giveaway of some sort. At least. Hey, something like the little clapper things they have, you know?
Anything. Literally, there's no can you imagine? This is what I do. Firstly, I imagine what it would be for me. And you're likely from a country that's much better at train travel than the United States, because that's all of them.
And certainly in New Jersey Transit, because it's probably the worst system in the country.
So you're sitting on this train, you're like, wow, what year is this from? But there's this little tiny woman in the front who just comes by briefly. Like, that's you and I. We're in Italy on the train. We're going to a game. And this little tiny person's like, hey, are there USA fans? We're like, woo! We're like, hey, are there any fans of Portugal? Woo!
Yay!
And then she's gone. And you go,
that's it.
What was that? What?
That was the disappearing governor. Do we get a souvenir, a pen? Even like a pen, something, nothing?
Not a USA pin. Just a random woman popped into your train car for 10 seconds to film a social media clip. Like, I just think it would be so weird if that was me in another country.
And by the way, completely for her own self-promotion. Like, nobody gets anything out of that. It wasn't like she was there to give helpful information or to give them tips to help them navigate the chaos. Like, hey, it's Governor Mikie Sherrill. I'm here to announce we've just added 50 more trains or something like that to help you get home faster. Here's another. It's purely about her own shameless self-promotion. The entire thing. That's it.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, nothing helpful about that. Like, gee, thanks for that. It'd be one thing if she was like, pro tip, as you leave the game tonight, walk to the end of the platform. You'll find additional trains. I've ordered more trains.
This train is so busy. You guys seem so excited. The trains home are going to be twice as big. We're already working on it. Thanks, guys, for being here. No, instead, are there any Brazilian fans?
Oh, woo, yay. Well, look, the good news is that oil prices are falling today. So if you do drive to the World Cup, hopefully gas prices will be coming down soon. Where we are right now with the Iran deal is that U.S. and Iran have agreed in concept to these terms. The president's at the G7. And short time ago, while sitting with French President Emmanuel Macron, whose wife is allegedly a woman, so I'm told. I've read that. And I have no reason to doubt that, since I don't want to be party to any lawsuits, said, quote, I think a lot of great things are happening in the Middle East right now. And very importantly, the oil is plummeting down and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today, the president said, like record kind of numbers. And the oil is taking its biggest plunge. The president went on to confirm that the full text of the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran will be released after it is formally signed off on Friday of this week. He said he may or may not attend the signing ceremony, but J.D. Vance will be attending if the president does not. And this is very, very important to know, that the idea of this deal working finally and happening looks very positive, because the strait will be considered reopened. but it doesn't mean traffic will normalize immediately. But the market believes it will normalize quickly enough that oil is plunging as I'm speaking right now. Now, depending on when you hear this, obviously that may have changed. But even though you're going to hear the media spin this as saying, well, it's going to take time for the strait to be fully open. Yes, got to make sure there's no mines in there. There's like little, like minor things like that, like making sure there's no mines in the strait to blow up ships. You know, kind of a big deal, kind of an important deal. It's something we got to work on. Right. But the market's reacting to this positively is a sign that they think this is going to hold, that they think by Friday the deal is going to be signed. And I have great reason to believe that as well. I think the president realizes now we are getting to the point, and this is what I've been saying consistently too, we have to get this worked out by the summer. We have to get this worked out by summer to give time for prices to stabilize, and heading into midterms, that has to be the thing. Because there are going to be people out there that are angry. And even though it's a stupid argument to make that because Elon Musk is a trillionaire, somehow that means that your life is harder. It has no bearing on your life whatsoever in a negative way. It may have a bearing on your life in a very positive way, but it has no bearing on your life in a negative way. But that we don't think in terms of zero-sum games. The president knows that Republicans are facing Democrats who are nominating socialist candidates who are rallying up an enraged base on this idea of affordability. They are taking the playbook that the president used in 2024, and they are now trying to flip that to use it in their direction and saying, it's not fair that these oligarchs are getting rich and you're struggling. Very similar to the argument that Republicans used about the Biden family. If you remember, things like we said, the Biden crime family is getting rich and Americans are struggling. It's not fair that the Biden crime family is getting rich and people are struggling to pay gas and pay groceries. Flip the script, and Democrats this fall are going to use that and say, it's not fair. Elon Musk is a trillionaire and the Trump family is getting richer and you're struggling to pay for gas and to pay for food. And that's what they're going to be doing this fall heading into midterms. And we don't want to lose the Senate. We don't want to lose the House. Because then you're going to have a lot more Robert De Niro speeches, and you're going to have a lot more performances like the one you had to sit through before, and you're going to have a lot. It's going to be a lot, okay? You don't want that. Now, the good news is we were able to, I knew this was a Fugazi the minute I saw this. So Eric Trump apparently DM'd, I want to put up these screenshots for you, Daniel Cormier, who is a UFC fighter. All right. Now, I'm telling you, the minute I saw this, my Fugazi radar went off on this. And I'll tell you the reason why. Okay. Because when you look at these tweets, Eric Trump allegedly slides into his DMs, Daniel Cormier, this UFC guy. And he's like, hey, man, are you going to be attending UFC 250? And the fighter's like, yo, Eric, like, this is a big freaking deal. Like, you're the president's son. You just slid into my DMs. Like, yeah, man, like, this is cool. And he's like, anything you can tell me about the fights? And he's like, no, I'm not allowed to bet. I'm not, blah, blah, blah. And the minute I knew that this was a whole Fugazi, like the thing that did it for me was when Eric Trump allegedly puts a $ into one of the tweets. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but he's like, it's basically about dollar bills, y'all, Like, all right, so you're the president's son. You're rich as hell. You're looking for inside information on if the fights are fixed, and you're going to DM, put in writing, a UFC fighter, and then you're going to put a money emoji, a dollar bill emoji, and you're the president's son. You're rich, and your wife is very successful and a Fox News host. Dollar bill emoji from Eric Trump. Like, yo, man, any inside information? Money, money. It was actually, technically speaking, $2 bill, like 2 money sign emojis. But whether it's a dollar bill emoji or 2 money sign emojis, like Eric Trump's not dropping something that blatant. I'll just cut to the chase. Are any of the fights tomorrow rigged? I've been enjoying the Lopez fight, and I think an upset wouldn't be too unrealistic. Dollar bill sign. Money sign, money sign. No, none of the fights are rigged, and honestly, I am appalled that you would even ask me something like that. So that's when my Fugazi radar went up, and I said, you know what? Like, I would ask that question. I might DM a UFC fighter and ask him if, you know, but actually I'm probably too smart to do that. Eric Trump doesn't need inside information. If he does, I feel like he's got better ways to get it than by sliding into a UFC fighter's DMs and leaving like a written trail of evidence that he's trying to rig the betting structure for his dad's UFC fight at the White House lawn. I'm going to throw that out there. So my Zeoli Fugazi radar immediately went up right there, but that didn't stop the left. Raw Alerts, The Bulwark, all these other people started tweeting this morning about how Eric Trump was trying to gain insider information so that he could rig the UFC fights and make more money. Well, it turns out that Daniel Cormier says he was hacked, and the DM conversation with Eric Trump is not real. We have a little bit of audio of that for you. Here you go.
DC, what happened with those posts from Eric Trump?
Not real.
They're not real?
I can't believe you guys believe that. Like, who believes
Yeah,
something like that?
everyone said it was posted on your account.
I got hacked or something. Who believes stuff like that? That's crazy.
So you didn't post it?
Fuck no. Why would I do that?
DC, you're a fucking legend.
Hey, what do you think of Joe Hogan's joke, man? What do you think of
So
Josh Obama?
The journalists that say you posted it are wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. What are you talking about?
Thanks, Rudy.
You're welcome.
I was like, that's so stupid. Why would I do that? Exactly. But the bigger question, what he should have asked is, more importantly, why would Eric Trump do that? This is not a guy who's like in deep gambling debt. Like, he's got to pay his bookie. He needs inside information on the UFC fights. And if the fights are rigged, you've got Dana White coming to the White House. I'm pretty sure you could probably pull him aside in the Oval Office and be like, Dana, no offense, but Dad, can you tell Mr. White he's got to let me know so I can... there's probably a better way, Jared. It's my point that you can get that information.
Unless Dana is who he owes the money to, right? Then
no, unless his dad is who he owes the money to. Maybe that's it.
To be clear, I think all the Trump kids owe some money to Dad. But,
well, that's fair,
But maybe Dana's maybe he's afraid Dana is the guy that's going to break his legs, trying to get a little. Also, can I give you one more on the Fugazi, Dar?
Yes, please.
The timestamps. In my experience, there are only two kinds of DM conversations on anything. It is where you are going back and forth and you're both on the app. Yeah. Or it's this like, get to it tomorrow. You've got 11:28, 11:36, 11:53, 11:57. And then they go dark for 20 minutes, 12:22, dark for 10 minutes in the morning. Now we're at 12:30 in the morning. He responds back 12 minutes later. 14 minutes later, it's just like, that's not, you're telling me they were on the app, but not enough to respond immediately, that they were just like doing something else and they kept checking back into the conversation. Like, no, that's a weird cadence to have a DM conversation with somebody.
Like, in other words, from his perspective, if the president's son is actually DMing him, he's probably going to stay by the phone.
Yeah. What's he doing?
It's
12:30 in the morning.
The equivalent of, let's say, an executive at talent management of a certain media company was texting me. Sure. I would be right by the phone. I wouldn't like put it down and, like go walk the dog and come back 40 minutes later and be like, yeah, I'd be interested in a meeting. I would be, this could be kind of a big deal. Now, maybe you play hard to get. I don't know.
But both ways. But also Eric would be on it because he's getting the inside information on it.
He's getting the inside information, so he wants to get it as soon as possible to place his bets.
Yep.
So the timestamp thing gave it away for you as well.
No, I mean, it's I don't know.
I just think it's so silly. And Daniel Cormier tweeted out, "Are people really this dumb?" That's what he's got 8.4 million views. Yes. They are, including Tom Hartman, by the way, who's how would you describe him, Jared? Is he like the last true liberal terrestrial radio talk show host? Is that how you would describe him?
I would say he's a classic. He's kind of the only liberal talk show host. Like, he was a liberal talk show host before Air America. Air America grabbed him, and he continued after. So he's a good talk show host. He's just a good storyteller.
Yes.
that has always been liberal. So while everything else kind of comes and goes, he's always been there.
And he's on terrestrial radio. Whereas,
Yeah,
you've got podcasts, you got the Midas Touch and the podcast,
Bulwark and
Pod Save America. You got those guys, but he's still on terrestrial radio as well as also has a podcast, right?
Exactly.
And there's not many on the left who are on the radio. When Air America collapsed in 5 minutes, it didn't really last long. Most of them wound up going to MSNBC or someplace else. He kept on the radio, though, to his credit. He was able to keep a career in talk radio at a time when not many people were. I don't think anybody else did, really.
Yeah,
Eric, what's his name?
There's a couple. There was like the Stephanie Miller, maybe, but it's small.
Yeah.
It's small and it gets smaller every year because there's not a lot of liberal. The only people that have a liberal stations when you got like 3 or 4 extra radio stations you don't have to do with. You're like, I don't know, make it a liberal one. So there's a couple, but Hartman's the big one. Hartman's the Sean Hannity of liberal radio, and he's always been there. Other stuff comes and goes, but he's always there.
So he sends out an email this morning at 11:38 a.m. and I'm going to read you the headline of this. Eric Trump reportedly tried betting on rigged UFC fights. That's the subject of his email, of his raw alerts email, his whatever it is. And then he goes on to give a whole platitude of that. Stephen Miller wanted to, and then he goes on to other things too. But so he jumps on this. And I think of this as a time where we're living in an age right now. And this is part of the reason why the media has lost such credibility. And that, like, TDS thing they call it, that Trump derangement thing. It's like, I'm going to jump on this and put this out to my people. And yet, by the time he put it out at 11:38 a.m., when his email went out this morning at 11:38 a.m., it had already been debunked. But it doesn't matter. It had already been debunked. Daniel Cormier had already come out and said, how dumb are you people? I was hacked. The New York Post had reported on it. It had already been, he had gone on the record. That video that we showed you, that clip that was old. It didn't matter. What mattered more was putting the story out there. And there are people who will run with this and will refuse to believe that this was hacked. They'll believe that, no, he and Eric Trump tried to rig this, got caught, took it down, and then lied about it. And then that's what they'll push. And they'll push that narrative out there. And so this guy who is supposedly criticizing the Trump media ecosphere for only giving the Trump version of things and blah, 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 jumps on a story that is wrong, that is false, sends it out to his people, and then pushes it out there even after it's been debunked and it's been reported in credible news sources that it is debunked. And the guy says, I was hacked. And anybody with a freaking brain would understand that you're not going to put all this stuff in writing if you're talking about rigging fights. You're not going to do that. You're going to say, hey, it's Eric Trump. Can you give me a call? And then the guy's going to call him. And then they're going to have a phone conversation. Like, if you're going to rig a fight, everybody know. Again, maybe it's the Jersey Italian in me. I don't know. But my Fugazi radar tells me that if you're really seriously looking to rig something, you're going to do it over a phone call. And still then, you may want to be careful because somebody may be tapping the phones. So you're probably going to meet at a diner, and there's probably going to be a bag of cash exchange in a paper bag, or crypto. And it's probably going to be through a third-party representative. Again, also, there's that too. All those things of my Fugazi radar. So we live in the dumbest time ever. We really do. I mean, it's just, we're just dumb. Everybody's dumb. We want so badly for our enemies to be wrong that we'll just take, even when we know we're wrong, we'll just go with it anyway. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? All right, I got to get out of here, but I hope you had a great time. I thank you for listening to the show and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Let's hope this Iran deal gets commenced fully. We'll have more details on it for you tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you for subscribing. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast, our YouTube channel at Rich Zeoli Show. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and thank you for listening.
Jersey, I hope you have a fantastic birthday today, and have a great game, everybody. Let's go.